Welcome to Rathalos Watch. Today I'm going to give you an update on what's happening with Zinogre alongside Shagaru Magala and a brand new Elder for Monster Hunter Wilds, and whether we should be expecting Zinogre in Title Update 3 in late September, the future title updates 4 and 5, or rather the expansion itself sometime next year. Make sure to like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so before I get into the nitty-gritty details on what I believe is happening with Zinogre and whether he is still coming to Monster Hunter Wilds, the first thing I need to mention is talk about the original Chinese leak that happened almost a year ago on a Chinese social media platform. Context is important here, otherwise nothing will make sense. So those of you who have watched my previous videos and already know what I'm talking about, then this will just be a refresher, and if you are new here, then I will give you the short version. Basically, almost a year or so ago, around August or September, there was a huge Chinese leak that happened on a Chinese social media platform. The leak was an image of a conversation between two people, the leaker themselves, who was giving out the information, and someone else. The leak itself included a list of monsters for Monster Hunter Wilds before they were revealed through normal marketing cycles by Capcom. Monsters included were Yankutku, Kangalala, Gypceros, Nersilla, Gormagala, Blungonga, along with Lagaikris and Seregios for the base game at launch. Mitsutsune and Zinogre were also listed, but as post-launch updates. For the most part, the majority of the leak was correct, with the exception of Seregios and Lagaikris being launch day monsters, since both of those ended up actually coming out in title update number 2 very recently. Despite that, everything else was absolutely on the dot, and the list is coming to fruition as the time goes on. My point is that this particular leak is very credible. The only monster that was not included in that list was Gravius, which also ended up being in the game at launch and was a surprise for a lot of people. Obviously, Gormagala was a big one, but Shagaru Magala right now is nowhere to be found, not even in the data mines or anywhere. And when the leaker was asked about him, he said it would be a spoiler. So where is Zinogre in all of this? Well, Zinogre originally did have some data in the data mines, but it was very little data and looked more junk than anything else. What do I mean by junk? Junk means leftover data from previous centuries, such as Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak and so on. It's data that is still there, but is not being used in any actual capacity for Monster Hunter Wild. When the game was released, data miners expected to find more data relevant to Zinogre, but that ended up being not the case at all. Instead, things got a lot worse for Zinogre. As a matter of fact, even the junk data for Zinogre got completely scrubbed out as new title updates came out. So what new data came in these new latest builds? Well, for one, monster ID EM_0078, which is Gogmazios, and you can watch my previous video on him that talks more about him in greater detail. Feel free to click on the card in the top right to go watch it. And more importantly, another new interesting monster ID that is EM_0166, which signifies a completely brand new original monster exclusive to Monster Hunter Wilds. And the most interesting part of that monster ID is that data miners managed to figure out that it was attached to an Elder Dragon classification. If Gogmazios does come in Title Update 3, then that would be the first Elder Dragon for Wilds, but it would be a returning one. And EM_0166 would be a brand new Elder Dragon for the franchise. Yeah, very exciting times ahead. I know I'm throwing out a lot of information here that is probably sending you all kinds of crazy brain signals and is making you run to the comment, but I'll be making a video on EM_0166 in the very near future, so make sure to stay tuned. I believe that a new original Elder Dragon deserves his or her own spotlight. Anyways, we know that Gogmazios is coming at some point in time, and right now the data points at Title Update 3 for him, which is coming up here in late September. At least that is what a lot of the data miners are assuming. And we know that a new Arctemport monster will be New Udra, who resides in the Oil Well Basin. So it kind of lines up to have a new update for that specific region across the board, since we already got, you know, a monster for Windward Plains, which is Seregios, 2 monsters for the Scarlet Forest, which was obviously Mitsutsune and Lagaikris, and we got a monster for Viveria, I guess, which is Oshia, high rank quest in the first title update. So what is exactly happening in the third title update? For the sake of this argument, it's possible that it could be Gogmazios and Zinogre, but it's also possible that it will just be Gogmazios and no one else this time around, or someone we do not even expect or do not know about, and Capcom is hiding it pretty well. Yeah, maybe Capcom is finally starting to hide their data this time around after all the crazy leaks. We have no clue what is coming coming to update number 4 as far as monsters go, besides Arc-Tempered Jindahat, since it's a winter update, and they seem to be going in the order of the Apex Predators. And if we go by that logic of Apex Predators, it's safe to assume that title update number 5 will have Arc-Tempered Arcveld, plus whatever other monster or monsters. And yes, data miners believe that EM_0166 will be the final high-rank boss of Monster Hunter Wilds prior to the beginning of the expansion, and no, it won't be Shagaru Magala, even though the original leak listed it and did mention his existence. I'm just gonna make a bold prediction here and assume that Shagaru Magala is being saved for the expansion, which in my opinion probably would make a lot of sense for him to be a G-rank hunt. But honestly, that's a discussion and a video for another day. Back to Zinogre. So has Zinogre been completely cut out? Why did even the leftover junk data get scrubbed off? Is it to get rid of the evidence? Well, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If anything, all the information is already out there from the leaks, and Capcom is not really saving faces or surprises here. At this point in time, there are 4 possible outcomes for Zinogre, and here they are. Outcome A, he will come in as a surprise in title update number 3 alongside Gogmazios in September. Outcome B, he will make an appearance in title update 4 this winter. Outcome C, he will make an appearance in the final base game title update number 5 alongside EM_0166 early next year. And outcome D, he was originally planned to be part of the base game at some point in time, and instead is being saved or moved to the expansion as an early G-rank hunt or a post-expansion title update. If we go back in time, we know that Zinogre was originally added to Monster Hunter World Iceborne as a second free title update post-expansion, so this would not be anything new for Capcom if they did decide to add him way later in the Monster Hunter Wilds life cycle. Also, one thing worth noting here is that there was a new 3D model render of Zinogre that was showcased during the 20th anniversary of Monster Hunter. This render that you see here on the screen is completely different looking from Iceborne and Sunbreak. It's a lot more higher res, which means that it's being used for something fresh. I highly doubt that it's just marketing material. Video game 3D assets are very expensive to make in today's day and age, and it would be a waste of a ton of money just to use it for the looks and nothing else. I really have a hard time believing that Zinogre has been completely abandoned for Monster Hunter Wilds after all this data scrubbing. He is way too popular, and he's like another poster child for the series. Now, if you want my personal and honest opinion, I would not mind if he did skip a title, if that is the case. Don't get me wrong, he's a great monster, but I already fought him more than enough times, and he's been in too many games, and I do not mind if someone takes his spot. But that's just me. But fuck what I think, I am really interested in knowing what are your theories when it comes to Zinogre making his grand entrance again to Monster Hunter Wilds in the comments. We are starting to get to the point where we are entering what I would like to call unknown territory. The leaks from last year and the crazy data mines pretty much gave out the entire monster roster of Monster Hunter Wilds. That is of course until Capcom makes another blunder and starts putting in more data into future builds where new data is discovered for the expansion's roster. We are still ways off for that to happen, but time is moving rather quickly, and before you know it, you will be seeing videos here talking about just that. Anyways, that is pretty much it in regards to Zinogre. As for Shagaru Magala and EM_0166, it would be better to make videos for those individually at a later date. Believe it or not, we have way more information on EM166 than we do on Shagaru Magala. So with that being said, stay tuned to the next video where I will be talking about the brand new Elder Dragon. Let me know what you all think about this current situation in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful in any way, then make sure to hit like and subscribe with notifications turned on. Peace out and happy hunting.